encourage you with some truth today. Jesus died so that we could be set free. Not just on the 4th of July, not just to celebrate freedom in America, but Jesus died so that we could be set free. Free from our sin, free from lies that we're telling ourselves, so that we could be free from our anxiety and fears. And so are you wanting to be set free from anxiety, from the crippling anxiety that's just keeping you stuck? If that's a goal of yours, if you're wanting to get control of the overwhelming thoughts that have been keeping you stuck, to enjoy, you still have 183 days to work through that this year. To still conquer your goals. And if you're new, welcome. Hello. Some of you are saying hey in the comments. Welcome, welcome. I'm Kylie. I'm a Christian brain health coach. I'm a teacher. I'm a pastor's wife. I'm a mom. And I come on live, like I said, every Monday at 12 o'clock Central noon. So you can watch me live then, or you can watch the replays. Hello, Ann in Oregon. So glad you're joining me on Instagram. And so, like I said, you can join live or you can watch the replays in the guides tab. And so I want to help to bring you towards freedom. I want to bring you encouragement and God's truth to remind you of what you're capable of. And that's what I come on for each week. Hello, Jenny. To give you encouragement, to remind you of what is possible for you. Even when your brain says you can't, we have to remind our brain what is true and what is truly possible for you. What you can do despite how you feel. And so I also have an anxiety unashamed program where I help my clients to get control, to work through the steps and really be intentional to get control with support, accountability, a course and coaching and all of the things. And I teach that to my clients. But today I really want to talk to you about how your brain can keep you stuck in anxiety. And there's a few different ways, and there aren't any quick fixes, ladies. I mean, there's ways that we can help ourselves to feel better quickly. But when it comes to renewing our mind, to really getting control of anxiety so we're not stuck there are things we have to do, and it's a process. And so we've got to get real with ourselves about learning how to change. God gave us all the time we need. He gave us the resources we need. He gave us the truth that we need. And he gives us grace. He gives us the grace that we need. So we got to give ourselves the grace that we need to do the work, to work through what we're struggling with. But we also have to be intentional to use the resources, to go to his truth, to take the time instead of just sitting in those negative, untrue thoughts that are not true for us. And so somebody needs to hear today. Somebody needs to hear this. God has you here on purpose for a purpose. Your anxiety, your fear, your depression is not who you are. Who is that for today? One of you, some of you, all of you need to know that. Your anxiety is a feeling that you can learn to control. And that's a powerful truth for you today that I want to talk to you about, but being set free from our anxiety. We were created to live our lives on purpose for God's purpose, not to be a victim to it. And oftentimes we go about our day and before we know it, we're totally consumed with our emotions. We're totally consumed with anxiety and we let it dictate our day. We let it decide what we can do and what we're capable of. But no more letting our feelings decide what we're capable of today. Decide what we can do for today. I want you to understand something very important. Your feelings, whether it's anxiety, fear, overwhelm, it's not who you are. It's not something you can't control. God gave us the ability to control our feelings. And if you've been taught to believe that you can't control it, or you haven't been taught to believe anything about your feelings at all, that you should just deal with them, I want you to know that you can get control. A feeling is a justification of a thought. And so what that means is God gave us our feelings, even anxiety. It's true. He gave them to us to help us when we need it. Fear and anxiety are useful when we need them, when danger is in the way, when we need to be intentional about, well, wait a minute, should we go there? Should we really do that? When we need to run from a car, an on-moving car, or when we need to run from destruction, God gave us feelings of anxiety and fear to protect us, to help us. So in this world, because of all the confusion and turmoil, we learn at a very young age to feel anxious and fearful at times that are not appropriate for us. We learn to be depressed and doubt God. Our brain attaches the feelings of anxiety and fear and doubt and worry and uncertainty to our thoughts to protect us. So our brain's just doing its job of bringing up these thoughts. But the really cool thing is we can get control of those thoughts, and that's how we feel better. And so the anxiety can become a conditioned routine of feeling because of conditioned patterns that we've been believing for so long, sometimes for decades even. So the key to finding freedom from anxiety is first understanding it will not hurt you. Just like joy and peace, God gave us all of our feelings to help us, not hurt us. Then you have to be aware of the thoughts you're telling yourself. I can't change. This is who I am. Nothing will help me. So if you're keeping these thoughts on repeat, I can't change. This is who I am. Nothing can help me. Those thoughts are not true for you. And they will keep you stuck. And along with thousands of other thoughts that are keeping you stuck in feeling anxious and overwhelmed and fearful, they can be changed. You can get control. God created us to live our life, not to be a victim of it. But because we were never taught to think about what we think about, we were not taught to talk about our feelings, let alone told that we can get control of them. Most of us had no idea what to do. Then we tell ourselves the lies that there's nothing we can do. And that keeps us stuck. We actually stay stuck for 3 reasons. There's one of 3 reasons your brain is keeping you stuck in anxiety right now. And it could be all 3. At one point in my life, it was all 3. And so be mindful of these three statements that I'm getting ready to explain, because it's not true that you can't change and get control. What is true is your brain is keeping you anxious. And the reason is, number 1, either you don't know how to change. Number 2, you're not ready to change. Or number 3, you don't think you're worth changing because of the past or because of present circumstances. You don't have the God confidence within you to think that you are worth changing. So it's so important for you to take ownership of what your brain is telling you so you can know how to move forward. Maybe you don't know what to do to change. But listen, sister friends, that doesn't mean you can't. You have control of your thoughts. You can change them. And maybe you being in this group, in the Renew Tribe right now, or on the Renew Coaching page on Instagram, you're starting to learn, oh, wait a minute, I can get control. And maybe that's why you're here, because you feel stuck and you don't know how. There were times in my past I didn't want to do the work. So maybe that's you. You're not ready to change. And if I'm being honest, I had a hard time not blaming others for what they did and what other people were thinking that I oftentimes felt like if I change, I'm making it okay that they haven't changed. Well, I change and then I'm happy and joyful, but because of what they did, they should see that that's wrong. And so I shouldn't be happy and joyful because of what they did. I don't want them to see me that way. It sounds silly, but it was almost like if I was a new person, if I was truly happy, that meant it made what they did okay. It made their lifestyle okay. And I didn't want them to be okay because of what they did or because of who they were. Anybody get that? Like, I'm being so vulnerable and honest right now with that. But I think it's important. I think some of you need to hear that. Because if you can relate, I want you to know nothing is further from the truth when it comes to your healing. We don't have to stay stuck in the memories and misery of what somebody else did or what somebody else is doing. That's too painful for us. That is keeping us so far stuck to where we're not living out our purpose. That's not who God created us to be. We don't have to worry about what they're doing. God only wants us to worry about what we're doing. And I learned what somebody else did that was not okay is not okay, but I could be okay. I could be okay. And the best way to be okay was to be set free, to feel joy, to feel peace, to understand God's purpose, despite what somebody else chose to do. I could choose differently. And what they chose or what they're choosing, they have to answer to God for that. I could choose joy. I could choose truth. I could choose peace. I could choose God's truth, not somebody else's truth. And that's powerful. That's powerful. And so can you. Staying trapped by what somebody else did or said to me was keeping me stuck. And it was time to be ready to do the work. That can keep us not ready. And I needed to move forward to do the work that I could do to change. And so you may find yourself there. Or maybe it's number 3. Maybe it's the third person. You don't see the value in getting the help you deserve. And I totally understand that. I didn't believe I was worth changing for a very long time. I didn't believe I could take the time to learn what I needed to learn. At times I didn't believe my brain could learn what I needed because of just who I am and the way my brain is. I didn't know if I should pay what it costs to get the help I needed, because am I worth that? You know, I'll pay for the car, I'll pay for the bills at the house, I'll buy the clothes, and I'll buy the purse, and I'll pay for the vacation and do all the things, but will I pay the cost of getting control of my mental and spiritual health? I didn't know if I should do that. But then this is what I realized. It was costing me too much to stay stuck. It was costing me too much to stay this way. I wasn't living in my purpose. I did not feel joy and peace. And what was the point of living if I was just surviving? It was costing me my marriage. It was costing me my kids. It was costing me my precious time. It was costing me understanding and seeing the purpose that God had for me while I was here on earth. And isn't that the point of being here? To know and fulfill God's purpose and to feel and see him more than ever before, and to be able to go on and live into eternity in heaven. And so I was wasting precious time, doubting, uncertain, fearful, no peace, feeling like maybe God wasn't even there. And we can never get our precious time back, ever, 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 ever. Time is our most precious asset. So I decided it was finally time to change all of these reasons. It was time to learn how to change. It was time to accept not knowing how. It was time to be ready to do the work, to live a much better life, no matter what somebody else had done or no matter what somebody else in my life was doing. And it was time to know I was worth changing because Jesus died for me to not stay stuck. He died for me to fulfill my purpose in him, and he died for that for you too. God has now given me the purpose and the responsibility to help every one of you listening to understand Jesus died for you to be set free from anxiety, just like I did.